Welcome to FlexInglesOnline.com, Lesson 5-4, Verbs and Vocabulary, Verbs Want and Go. Here are lesson objectives. We're going to expand our vocabulary, we are going to learn new expressions, and we're also are going to practice verb conjugation. So quickly, let's go through our lesson prerequisites. Make sure that you know the present of the verb to be and that you know how to use does and do. Part 1, asking questions. We're going to create questions to the statements we'll see on the screen. So let's look at the statement below and choose the right question for it. The sentence is, no, I want to speak with my manager. Manager and boss. That's our vocabulary below. Here's the options. Does you want to speak with me? Do you want to speak with me? Does she want to speak with me? Or do I want to speak with you? So the correct question for that answer is, do you want to speak with me? Which prompts the answer, no, I want to speak with my manager. Now, I go to church on Sundays. Church, that's the vocabulary. So option A, when do you go to church? Option B, when does you go to church? Option C, when does she go to church? And option D, when do we go to church? So the correct option on this case is, when do you go to church? So I can answer, I go to church on Sundays. Yes, she likes to go to the movies. Yes, she likes to go to the movies. To the movies. Do she like to go to the movies? Do he like to go to the movies? Does she like to go to the movies? Or does he like to go to the movies? It's very clear that our answer needs to have a she, so the answer will be, does she like to go to the movies? Does being the auxiliary verb to ask a question in the third person. Does she like to go to the movies? Então, quando fazendo perguntas na terceira pessoa, o verbo auxiliar é o does. Esse é do nosso módulo The Truth About Does and Do. No, I don't want this book, I want that book. No, I don't want this book, I want that book. So here are our options. Do you want this book? Does you want this book? Do I want this book? Or do want you this book? So, matching the pronouns, I'm asking the second person, I'm answering the first person. So, do you want this book? No, I don't want this book. I want that book. So we're finally on the part 2. Reading comprehension, text comprehension, compreensão de texto. So we're going to analyze a short text, and then we're going to answer questions related to it, using the material learned so far. Let's get to it. The title of this short text is Anne's Agenda. Agenda da Anne. So here we go. I don't know what I want to do. My neighbor Jessica asked me to go to church with her tomorrow, but I really want to ride my bicycle to the movies downtown. I have been looking forward to seeing my favorite actor for over a week. My sister Ivy says that I should wait one more day for the movie and go to church instead. Maybe when I get to the office tonight, I will ask my boss her opinion before making a decision. My boss Jennifer told me she agrees with my sister and thinks that I should go to church tomorrow and go to the movies the following day after I meet the bank manager. I think I will take their advice. I'm sure I will like both events. So, let's look at some questions related to the first paragraph only. This lesson's quiz will cover the other paragraph. Ok? Então vamos então observar algumas perguntas relacionadas somente ao primeiro parágrafo, porque o quiz dessa lição irá cobrir o outro parágrafo. So let's read the first sentence again. Anne said, Anne disse, I don't know what I want to do. Here's the question. Aqui está a pergunta. What doesn't Anne know? What doesn't Anne know? O que a Anne não sabe? Here are our options. Option A. She, Anne, doesn't know what she wants to do. Or option B. She, Anne, does not know what she wants to do. So what is the correct option? Option B. She does not know what she wants to do. Observe that we are simply repeating what Anne said, but we replace don't. Anne says, I don't know. So the don't right here. By doesn't. Anne does not. She doesn't. And then we add an S at the end of the verb want, making it wants right here. So she doesn't know what she wants to do. Okay? So let's go to the next one. Now we move into the second sentence right before the comma. Here, comma, virgula. So, here's what Anne said. My neighbor Jessica asked me to go to church with her tomorrow. Who is Jessica? Quem é Jessica? Here are our options. Option A, she's Anne's neighbor. Option B, she's Anne's boss. So what's the right option? She's Anne's neighbor. It's right here. The first two words answering your question. Who's Jessica? Jessica's my neighbor, so Jessica's Anne's neighbor. So we have our vocabulary: neighbor, vizinho, boss, chefe, comma, vírgula. About the previous sentence. My neighbor Jessica asked me to go to church with her tomorrow. What does Jessica want? What does Jessica want? Here are options. She wants to go to church for Anne, or she wants to go to church with Anne. The correct option? With Anne. She's going with her, she's not going for her. So she wants to go to church with Anne. Here, the verb used in the sentence was asked, which is the past of ask. So we can assume that Jessica wants something from someone, so she wants to go to church with Anne. Again, about the previous sentence. My neighbor Jessica asked me to go to church with her tomorrow. We ask, when does Jessica want to go to church? When does she want to go to church? Here are options. She wants to go to church tomorrow, or she goes to church tomorrow. The correct option is she wants to go to church tomorrow. Again, same rule. You have the S after the first verb in a simple repetition of the rest of the phrase, which is to go to church tomorrow. Okay? Now let's move to the final part of the second sentence after the but. So Anne says, but I really want to ride my bicycle to the movies to downtown. But I really want to ride my bicycle to the movies downtown. So what does Anne really want to do? What does Anne really want to do? The options are on your screen. Anne wants to walk with her bicycle, or Anne wants to ride her bicycle? Our correct option is actually to ride her bicycle. Why? ¿Por qué? It is very important to notice that bicycles are ridden, not walked. And rides her bicycle. She does not walks with her bicycle. Então é muito importante que a gente note que não se anda com ou de bicicleta. Em inglês, we ride our bicycles and we drive our cars. Again about the previous sentence, but I really want to ride my bicycle to the movies downtown. Where does Anne want to ride her bicycle to? Options: A, she want to ride it downtown to the movie, or she wants to ride it downtown to the movies. As you imagine, como você imaginou, she wants to ride it downtown to the movies. A mesma regrinha. We have the S after the first verb and a simple repetition of the rest of the phrase. Now let's move to this phrase. Anne says, my sister, Ivy, says that I should wait one more day for the movie and go to church instead. My sister Ivy says that I should wait one more day for the movie and go to church instead. Who is Ivy? This one is really easy. Ivy is Anne's sister. Again, the first three words had the answer for our question. Who is Ivy? My sister Ivy. She is Anne's sister. Now let's move to this phrase, which is the same. My sister Ivy says that I should wait one more day for the movie and go to church instead. So what does she want? She in this case is Ivy. So what does Ivy want? Here are our options. She wants Anne to go to church instead of going to the movies, or she wants Anne to go to the movie instead of to church. Our correct option? Option A. She wants Anne to go to church instead of going to the movies. Now, did you notice that when asking questions in the third person using does, the verb does not take the S. The verb doesn't take the S. Right here. Want has no S at the end because it's the question. Aqui a pergunta não tem S no final do want. But when answering questions, the verb does indeed take the S. But when we're answering, quando nós estamos respondendo a pergunta, she wants, com o S no final, with the S at the end. Alright? So here's our review. Here we have, right above, right on top of the screen, we have the verb on the infinitive, os verbos que aprendemos hoje. Então, we have want, go, ride, ask, and say. And says, and asks, we ask, and rides her bicycle, and goes, and wants. If it's in the first person, I want, I go, I ride, I ask, I say. And second and third person, plural or singular, you want, they go, they ride, you ask, you say. Okay? So let's make sure that you remember those. And this does it for us today. Our quiz will further explore the short story. So make sure you take the quiz below the lesson, okay? Obrigado por assistir essa videoaula de inglês. Se você está assistindo essa videoaula no YouTube, o link para o teste da lição se encontra na descrição desse vídeo. E para você que é estudante da FlexInglesOnline.com, o link do quiz está logo abaixo do vídeo, assim como você encontrará links para materiais relacionados ao assunto. Bons estudos and good luck! And next, FlexInglese Lesson 6-0.